Hi there, and welcome to This Is Ibrox, where we are presenting the post-match reaction after Rangers have defeated Sparta Prague 2-1 at Ibrox in the Europa League. That sets us up for 7 points in the group. First half, magnificent. Thought it was a brilliant first half. Second half, Sparta changed things up, but we still adapted well. I'm joined by Ross Chalmers. Ross, how are you after that, and what was your overall thoughts in the game?
Well, you've summed that up pretty well, Kill, actually. I don't really know how to add to that. No, I'm good. Good performance tonight. It was a really good atmosphere at Ibrox tonight, actually. Something that we've probably not seen for a while because of the performances for the team, but I thought the fans deserve a lot of credit tonight. Really got behind the players. Even at, bad touches, failed passes, I thought the fans done really well to back the players tonight, and I think you've really seen the benefits of that in the first half. I think we'll get more into it, but I really do believe that first half tonight under Philippe Clement was the best we've seen. I thought Rangers were really good in that first 45. I thought Sparta maybe underestimated Rangers a wee bit. I think they maybe came with a game plan to play out from the back and try and press high, but it didn't really work for them in the first half, and Rangers kind of cut them open at will. But overall, a lot of what Philippe Clement touched upon in his press conference there, the intensity from the start was there for Rangers, pressing really well, reacting to second balls, and really should have been up by more than two at half time. I think two was a wee bit harsh, but ultimately Danilo doesn't take that chance at 3-0. But yeah, overall, Kyle, I'm really happy with that. Again, second half maybe wasn't as good as the first, but it shows a lot of character in the team to get through and get the result. Again, that's something we've not seen from a Rangers team under Michael Beale at various points this season. So all round, a really good night for Rangers for me, and really positive. It's rare that I'm on positive podcasts at this point, Kel. So I'm going to savor it.
Yeah, it's good to have you on a positive podcast. I saw you at half time up in the club deck, and I think we were a bit, what's going to happen here? Because if you're in a podcast, something must happen. But now we stayed strong until the end. But look, you touched on a wee bit there. The first player I want to talk about obviously got the first goal, set the second goal up after a bit of excellent play from Todd Cantwell before he finished it. But it's Batdan himself. Before he scored, he should have had a goal, I think, with the Cantwell cross that came across. The second goal, I'll need to look at my programme here. Gomez, the boy was, who had an absolute shocker of a game tonight. But I think that was because Danilo put him under so much pressure. But talk about the finish. How impressed were you with yes, I'm going to use that phrase again, the Batdan, to put Gomez under pressure to win it, and I actually thought it was a really composed finish. Winning the ball was not the easiest part of the move, but it was a great finish, and overall, he just gives you everything that Dessers hasn't over the last few games: the pace, the drive, and the work effort. If he could finish a bit more clinically, I suppose he wouldn't be at Rangers. But what was your overall thoughts in Clement, Danilo, since Clement's come in? Sorry.
Yeah, I think we're probably still seeing a Danilo that's not 100% sharp, but I think the performance we're getting out of him so far when he's not 100% sharp probably shows you how good a player he is. I think that first goal for Rangers tonight really summed up their start. I thought Danilo was pressing really well. I thought Cantwell was doing the same thing. To be honest, I thought the front four, including Lammers and Sima, were doing really well. They were putting a lot of pressure on Sparta, and Sparta continued to play out. Fair play to them. But it was really good from Danilo. Intense. He covers the yards to get across to the right-hand side, and he gets his reward for it. Then when he drives in, I think that angle probably, when I was watching it in the stadium, I thought he's got to score 1v1 here, but it's actually quite a difficult angle because the keeper comes out, he limits it, and Danilo just does really well to open his body and put it in. So just a really, really good goal, and it just shows you what you can get from starting with intensity and pressing high. Defenders will make mistakes if you put them under enough pressure. And I think tonight, Sparta definitely didn't pick the back three correctly, right? That Gomez on the left-hand side had a bit of a shocker, right, for that whole first half, and he was rightly hooked. But I think it just summed up, like I said, Rangers start. And look, I think Danilo will continue to get better. The sharper he gets, I'm hoping that these finishes that he's missing so far will become even more goals. But the fact he's still getting goals, something that I really, really liked about Danilo is his head doesn't go down if he misses. he brings a lot more than that. He still brings the intensity. He wants the ball whenever. His link-up play is actually probably a wee bit better than I thought it was. I thought he showed at times tonight that he was able to mix it really, which is something that I think we always want in a striker, a Rangers striker, because we've seen Alfredo Morelos do it for 4 or 5 years. So we really appreciate that side of the game. So it's definitely something he's got as well. So I'm really, really encouraged with Danilo. I think you're probably right to say that we're probably seeing everything that we want from Dessers and Danilo at the moment. Let's hope that time out the side for Dessers maybe kicks him on. There's a little bit less pressure, should I say, and when he comes in, he maybe makes more of an impact. But yeah, I think Danilo's been superb, and he deserved that first goal with the way he was pressing from the first whistle.
Yeah, it was certainly a bit of normal service resumes with a South American scoring the goals up front for Rangers and a team for Prague getting battered at Ibrox. So I'll take it all day long. But yeah,
I don't know if I can ever get on board with the bat Dan thing though, Kyle. I don't know if that'll ever stick for me.
That's
if
fine.
you want to keep going with it, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm like Danilo. I'm never going to stop. So there we go. Yeah, as you said there, just to pick up on what you said, I thought he was brilliant tonight. He led that line superbly well. You know, without getting in too deep into the tactics and stuff, I think that 4-2-3-1 formation just suits him down to a T. I'm really glad you picked up on his link-up play. I mean, we'll come on to the second goal now, but the touch, even if you look at the weekend, the touch that he had to Scott Wright, it was brilliant, and it's his quickness, his speed of thought that's got us that second goal tonight as well. I suppose that'll take us on nicely to Todd Cantwell. That's his first goal of the season. I was a bit unsure if he would start. Didn't think he had a brilliant game, a brilliant first 45 minutes, I should say, against Hearts at the weekend. But again, tonight, that's everything you want to see in Todd Cantwell. I love it when he's obviously got a bit of a point to prove. I love that, Todd Cantwell. I'm not sure the Prague player that was riling him up all game, but just some of the touches, some of the flex tricks, and just he's got that sort of, chest puffed out tonight. I thought he was brilliant, and he took his goal really well again tonight, Ross.
I mean, I'll take any invitation to rave about Todd Cantwell, Kel. I think we both know that. I absolutely love him. I think, again, someone that's coming back from injury, but I thought tonight, I think he had a bit of a point to prove. I think we've all got to remember he's playing on the right-hand side. I don't think it's his strongest position, but I think he still puts in 100% effort wherever he is in the park. Mm-hmm. Something I really love about Todd Cantwell, and I think it's always a sign of a top player. See, when he dribbles with the ball and he goes by someone, he drags the ball by them, if you get what I mean. Like, he kind of puts a bit of spin on it. He puts enough weight on it that the defender's got no chance of getting the interception. He's done it a few times tonight. I can really understand as a Sparta player getting very frustrated playing against Todd Cantwell, because myself, if I was playing against a player like that, it would drive me mental, because you always think you've got an opportunity to nick the ball off him and he just drags it away from you, or he's got a nice wee touch around the corner. He's such a good footballer. He's a terrific player. Do I think we could maybe get more out of him in that number 10 role? Probably, but the fact he's still facilitating this Rangers team on the right, I think he does work well with Tavernier as well. So that's something you maybe lose if you move him central, but such a good footballer. And I think when that goal, I think, I'll come back to Todd Cantwell, right? I just wanted to touch on that goal as a whole. I think it's a superb goal from Rangers, really good. John Lundstrom, I think it was a clear game plan from Rangers tonight to hit long balls over the top. Now, I know that's not sexy football, right? But ultimately, Philippe Clement's recognised that Sparta are probably not the best with balls over the top. Their defenders were not dealing with it well, and John Lundstrom at any opportunity was trying to hit it. Now, again, that comes to the second part of that. Abdallah Sima, his ability to take the ball down out the air and compete and win duels is something that we always need to utilise. It's clearly an asset that he's got, and I think it's something Clement feels that we can really utilise as well. So again, it's pinged over the top to him. One that I think might have been missed at the time, I think Sam Lammers does really well for this goal. Something that I think sometimes is missed. Yeah, sometimes I think that is missed in football is those kind of unselfish runs off the ball, creating space for someone else. Now, he darts in and it looks like he's going to take a touch, and he's aware and he's smart enough to let that ball run by him. He takes the defender out of the game, and it just gives Todd Cantwell that extra second on the ball to assess what he's going to do next. Brings it onto his right, shifts it onto his left, and it's a great finish. It's a really, really good goal. I actually haven't watched it back yet, right? So that probably shows you how much I enjoyed that goal, that I can remember it exactly in my mind without watching it back. But I just thought that one deserved a lot of credit, and I think everyone within that phase of play deserves a lot of credit. But yeah, Todd Cantwell, the finish, superb. I mean, we've seen that before. He can finish. I probably would like a wee bit more goals from him because he's such a good footballer, but overall, really, really good. And again, Todd Cantwell showing why he's got to play in this Rangers team every single week for me.
Yeah, he was brilliant when he was on the pitch tonight, and even at that, even when he came off and he's trying to walk across to the other side and he's pointing at the referee, he's going, "Why do I have to go for that way?" It's just, I love shithousery like that. But
he's one of those players, Kyle, isn't he? That if you're against him, you just hate him. You can understand it. You know, we can all be honest here. If he's playing against you, you get so frustrated by him. But that's why you love him, because he's got that side of his game. Some people criticise him sometimes, I suppose, at the moment. He's maybe picking up silly yellow cards and things, but I don't know if you want to take that out of his game. I think that kind of tenacity in his game is why we're also attached to him. So that's something I'd like him to keep. I want him to be silly and get himself sent off at certain points. No, I don't, and that might come down the line. But ultimately, I think that side of him is something why I love him, because he's got the technical ability, but he's got the mentality as well of, I'm the best player in this park, and I'm going to show everyone the best player in this park. I really like that in a footballer.
Yeah, 100%. The difference now is that I don't think we have a manager that's going to be texting him, asking him for a coffee. I think the manager's going to be protecting the team like he did again at the weekend and took him off. He even mentioned it in his post-match press conference against Hearts. He said he was on a yellow, so took him off as well. So as if it was just like, what a stupid question to ask. But look, I'm glad you talked about the sort of the whole team in terms of that goal. I'd even take it back one step further, and from the throw-in that Jack Butland just picked out the air, and then I can't remember, it went directly to Lundstrom, and as you said that, it's Ali McCoy that said the 1 o'clock gun pass. That's exactly what it was, and it was brilliant. But just a word on Jack Butland. Not easy shoes to fill, or boots to fill, or gloves to fill, I should say, in terms of Alan McGregor. But he has just seamlessly went straight into that team. I thought his game management was brilliant tonight. I thought his distribution was good tonight. I thought even goal kicks, just wasting time when we were ahead, was brilliant. You know, G'ing up players was good, and just had a big save at the end. He is everything you want in a Rangers goalkeeper, and he is living up to the song. He is Super Jack Butland in goal. What did you make of him tonight?
What a song, by the way. What a song. I can't get that one out of my mind. The same with Danilo one. They're two great songs. So whoever brought them forward, well done, because they are superb. I think probably the best way I can put it with Jack Butland at the moment, I'm struggling to see a weakness. Genuinely, I'm struggling to see a weakness. Now, I always think this goes for all players that play in the SPFL. I always think there's something you can pick out and go, right, I can maybe see why you're at this level. And that's maybe something you need to work on to get to the next level. I'm really struggling with Jack Butland, honestly. He's so assured when he's in possession, which is such a big part of being a goalkeeper these days. I know sometimes people don't like that. It's about keeping the ball at the back of the net, but that's just part of it. Very good with both feet as well, which I think is something that's quite underrated. Like, times tonight, Sparta were pressing us and they were trying to shape him each way, and he's very comfortable. And something as well as what I like about him with his kicking is that he's got such a sweet strike of the ball that he can really put it wherever he wants. So it's not as if he's being pressed and it's just, I'm going to lump this, I'm going to get rid of it. He's very pinpoint. He'll put it where he wants to. And I think he recognises as well that Abdallah Sima is one of those players that he can ping the ball at, and he's got a good chance of keeping possession. And then, shot stopping itself, he makes a huge save, I think, later on in the game. Sparta are piling the pressure on, and that's what he does. Again, something I find hilarious at the moment with Jack Butland does, and it just shows where we've maybe been the last couple of years. The cheers that he gets for coming to collect the ball is phenomenal. I just love it. It's something that's like such a small aspect of the game, but the Rangers fans just love it. That assurance where the tension is high. Sparta are going for long throws, or they were playing for set pieces a lot towards the end of the game. I think Sparta knew that was the best chance for them to get something out of the game, and he just comes and collects it. He just kills it dead for Sparta, and I think that's something that's psychological as well with the opposition. Mm-hmm. Do we really have a chance of scoring from a set piece, because that goalkeeper is so commanding? So I'm sure when people listen to this back, they might find a weakness in Jack Butland's game, but I'm really struggling to think of one off the top of my head, Kyle. I just think he's such a phenomenal goalkeeper. I mean, the fact we've signed this guy on a free, It would not surprise me if he's got interest down south. Like the way he's playing at the moment, the assurance he's bringing us, I would imagine there will be interest in him, but I'm going to enjoy him as long as he's here. I think he's making such a big difference for that defence.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think so far he's been this. Depends how Danilo finishes the season, how many goals he scores, but like he's been the absolute signing of the summer for me. He's brilliant. Just the way he conducts himself in press conferences, he is everything you want a Rangers player to be, and bonus, he's gorgeous as well. So,
absolutely. By the way, extremely handsome. Fair play to him.
I know,
playing for Rangers and looking like that. Yep, fair play. I'll give
That's
him that.
I'm always gutted. I'm always wanting him to come out in the pressers, but one day I'll get to be in there. Look, I mean, we finished that first half was superb. The small bit of the post match presser that I've seen from Philippe Clement, he did say that first 45 is how he wants 90 minutes to go, but it's early days, so you can't expect that performance for 90 minutes in the space of 6 weeks. But he's obviously come in with a plan. I mean, Rangers could have been 4-5-0 up in that first half, and I don't think anybody would have batted an eyelid. Second half, not so great. I think that's partly due to Sparta changing their tactics. But other than the goal they scored, I can't really remember them having a sniff. A player I'm going to come on to talk about that we always get comments about, and it always gets people talking. Bit of a controversial figure, I think, pretty harsh. But I thought Ben Davies absolutely strolled tonight's game again. I thought when the long balls were coming up, I think he has got the best touch, the best heading ability in terms of he just looks so composed every time. And the amount of tackles that he was putting in, I don't have the stats to hand, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was plus 10 challenges he had that won the ball from whenever they were attacking. I thought he was part of the reason why they didn't really have a sniffing goal tonight. I got slaughtered round about me up in the club deck for saying that I thought Ben Davies was having a pretty good game, and I'd be giving him man of the match. What was your thoughts on Ben Davies in the back four?
Yeah, I completely agree about Ben Davies. I thought he was so good tonight. I think something that is maybe a wee bit underrated with Ben Davies is his covering defending. He's very good at sweeping up. And even sometimes if he doesn't win the ball, he's very good at slowing a breakdown from an opposition. Yeah. Like he's able to slow things down. He positions his body in a way that can let defenders, recover and help him out. And that's a huge aspect of being a central defender. It's not just about you winning the ball 1v1. It's essentially keeping your shape and ensuring that it's, there isn't an easy ball to be played in. So I think that's something that goes under the radar a wee bit for Ben Davies. But yeah, I thought the main aspects of being a central defender tonight, I think he nailed it. I thought he was quite good in the air. I thought his composure when he had to, balls over the top at certain points, he's bringing it down his chest. There's certain points where he's just volleying it away, he's just clearing it, or he's bringing it down, he's playing back to Butland, or he's playing out to Barisic. I just thought overall tonight, Ben Davies deserves a lot of credit. I mean, this is a guy that, again, he's been out with a wee bit of an injury lately. He's thrown back into it again tonight, and I struggle with the criticism of him sometimes. I'll be honest with you. I can see the deficiencies in his game. I can see a wee bit of weakness. Maybe he isn't the most aggressive centre back we've ever seen for Rangers, but I think he's a pretty good centre back. I don't think he's anywhere near as bad as some of the things he's labelled with sometimes. So yeah, I was really pleased from, not to move you on too much, but I thought that left side tonight in terms of the one in front of him as well, Ryan Jack. I thought Ryan Jack was superb tonight again. And it's funny how the narrative changes around Rangers, isn't it? Imagine you went back 2 months and you said that Rangers were starting with a midfield two of John Lundstrom and Ryan Jack. The fans would have rioted.
Aneurysms left, right and centre.
But that's what I mean. It's funny how just the approach of a team can change. You can still have the same personnel, but it's all about how you approach the game, how you're playing. That's why sometimes I don't think it's necessarily the end of the world if you see these two guys on the pitch. It's how about Rangers going to approach the game. And I just thought tonight, that kind of strategy from Rangers to play long when it was on and utilise the second ball, I thought Ryan Jack was so good winning the second balls. I mean, he was anticipating any knockdowns from Sparta defenders and he was keeping the pressure on ultimately. And that's what's going to get you the goals. If you can keep the pressure on a back line. I think we've seen that in the first half. Sparta were all over the place and it's because they couldn't get a break. They couldn't get a breath. And that came down to a lot to Ryan Jack, what he was doing tonight. So I just wanted to call him out as well. I could probably go through the whole team, I'll be honest with you, and give everyone a mention because I thought in that first half they were all superb. But I just thought for Ryan Jack that wasn't really playing when Clement first came in, and I thought I'm not, just because of the injury issues Ryan Jack's had historically. Clement talking about in his press conference how he works with the medical team a lot. I just thought, is he going to get the minutes that maybe we'd expect? But he's came in the last couple of games, and again, he's shown how good a football player Ryan Jack is if you utilise him properly. So really, really pleased for him tonight, and I think he summarised that Rangers team in the first half.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I actually thought I saw the Sparta Prague manager going over to the fourth official at one point and complaining that we had 16 players in the pitch, but it just turns out Ryan Jack was absolutely everywhere tonight. I'm glad you mentioned him there. I thought he contributed excellently going forward and defensively as well. Just before we sort of wrap up, it's last couple of questions here. The first question I want to ask you, Ross, is how impressed have you been with Clement since he's come in? And specifically what I'm looking for is the way that we are attacking. Under Beale, we had one way, and that was going down the wings and trying to inject pace into fullbacks that just aren't as fast as what they were under his first stint here. We can attack down the left, we can attack down the right, we can go through the middle, we can go over the top, we can go short, we can play it out from the back. I love that we can go at teams several different ways now. How impressed have you been with that?
I think this is something that Clement mentioned in some sort of press conference. I might be wrong, but I'm sure he talked about the variety in our play. That's what he wanted. He wanted Rangers to be able to attack in several different ways. Now, most football teams will have a general kind of style or a system they'll play to, and there'll be certain aspects of that they try and utilise all the time. They'll maybe try and stretch it wide, or do you know what I'm trying to say? But ultimately, all the best teams can attack in every way, right? And I think that's what you're really starting to see with this Rangers team now. I think he's simplified it a little bit. He's just went back to a kind of simplified 4-2-3-1. He's put a bit of a base in there with Jack and Lundstrom. It means when your two fullbacks go, you've got the cover there, you've got enough. And he's also put wide men in areas where they should be. You've seen Abdallah Sima out there. You've seen Scott Wright coming onto a game. Of course, he didn't play tonight, but one more thing, I thought Ross McCausland was superb when he came off the bench. I think he's given players the environment to go and thrive in roles that they're used to. I think, again, this is one that might be a bit controversial. I do think Sam Lammers is starting to look better overall. I still don't think it's clicking for him. And I think there's a wee bit more to come, obviously, but he certainly looks better playing in that number 10 roles with bodies around him. He looks like he can actually contribute a wee bit more. And I think that's just what it comes down to. He's just simplified the approach for us.
Yeah.
And he's just asked the team to go and play with an intensity, press. That's something we didn't see under Michael Beale, and I think it's something we all feel as Rangers fans we want to see now, because again, all the best teams play that way. We wanted to see a press. We didn't really press under Michael Beale. It was we sat back quite deep. We let teams come on to us. Yeah. Whereas tonight, and you've seen it in most games, we are very aggressive. Are we aggressive for 90 minutes? No team is aggressive for 90 minutes, right? But we pick our opportunities to be aggressive, and we're winning the ball a lot higher. And I think it's just ultimately there's something now for the fans to buy into. Clement talked about that connection between the fans and the players. That's certainly coming back now. There's something that the fans can buy into. They're really enjoying the football. And Clement he's changing things slowly. And the players are definitely buying into it. I mean, you heard all the interviews after the Hearts game of the weekend, like John Lundstrom saying that he's a breath of fresh air and things like that. He's obviously getting these players on side, and he's getting them on side really early. So I've been really impressed with him, Kyle, really impressed. I think I was lucky enough that day to be in the Blue Room when he was unveiled, and I could feel it that day. He did have a bit of a presence. And I think you're really now starting to see that with this Rangers team. He's really put that stamp in this Rangers team so early on. That just gives me encouragement for the future.
Yeah, that's it exactly. You've touched on what I was actually going to ask you as well. There was two things. Number one, Ross McCausland was confidence personified when he came on. You could tell that was a young player that was full of energy, had been given a right good talk before he's gone onto the pitch. And I thought he was really, really good again today. The second point, you said, that connection with the fans is back. I mean, don't get me wrong, the final, what was it, 6 minutes that turned into 9-10 minutes after the game. It was brilliant when it ended. You could see, the players staying behind. Even going back to the sort of Hearts Hibs games at Ibrox, you didn't often see players in front of the Union Bears, but Danilo loves it. I think he needs to be peeled away after the games, but there is certainly that connection back there with the fans. I'm glad it's back so quickly. But my final point is, he's instilled a bit, as you said, a bit of presence, a bit of fear, I think, he's got about him, and instilled a bit of discipline again back tonight. Did you see that on the pitch tonight? And what was I going to say? I don't want to say you felt like the players weren't fighting for Beale anymore, but maybe you could. But you never want to say that about a professional footballer. But I really, really felt that all these guys are on that pitch doing it for Rangers, doing it for Clement tonight.
Yeah, I think, again, something Clement spoke about early on when he was brought in was he wanted Rangers to obviously be expansive and attacking, but he wanted that to come from a structure. Mm-hmm. So he wanted the team to always be aware of those kind of transitional moments. He wanted control of the game. He spoke about that in the press conference earlier after the game, where he was saying that he felt Rangers maybe weren't as good in the second half, but they still had control of the game. It wasn't like Sparta were cutting them open at will and they were defending the back foot constantly. I do agree with him on that. I don't think Sparta were ever cutting us open, and we did have control. And I think that's what we're seeing now. It's a structure. And once you've got a structure in place and each one of those players understands their roles, it means that then the collective is stronger. They can all come together and they can follow this kind of these pressing kind of mechanisms he's putting in place. Mm-hmm. I think that's what I can see from it. That's maybe went a wee bit too complex there, right? But ultimately, I just think there's a structure there now. There's something that I didn't really see under Michael Beale, and that I think that was what really frustrated me at the end of Beale, because I didn't see anything. There was nothing. Whereas I can clearly see under this Philippe Clement team that the game plan. There's a game plan. It was we spoke about this at halftime, right? It was obvious from the start what Rangers were trying to do tonight in terms of our approach play. They were trying to suck Sparta in, and they were trying to hit them with long balls to Abdallah Sima, and they were then playing off it. So they were essentially trying to beat Sparta's press. They weren't trying to play around it. They were trying to go over the top of it, and they were trying to feed off second balls. That's fine. If I can see that and it's working, I'm all for it. I'll get behind it. I think that was what we really struggled with under Michael Beale towards the end, without going too negative here, right? Ultimately, I'm really enthusiastic about this manager. He's really shown me that he understands what it needs, what he needs to change to get a team performing quickly. We've seen that in his time in Belgium. He came into clubs that were struggling, and he turned them around pretty quick. Not necessarily winning everything straight away, but he turned it around in that season. The next season they went on to win. So that gives me a lot of encouragement. And I'm really, really enthusiastic about this manager going forward, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. So much so that I've started implementing the 4 pillars at work and at home. So that's it. Up on my wall, I'm going to get the 4 pillars of Clement right now. But listen, just before we go, Ross, and by the way, I found this really difficult to answer myself. Man of the match.
Oh, do you know what? Usually you expect this to come when you're on one of these reactions and you've got one in your mind, but I actually haven't. Do you know what? I actually haven't thought about it. Todd Cantwell springs to my mind because of his performance, but then he went off around 60, didn't he? Can I really give it to someone who went off around 60? I think for me, it's probably between the 3 that are on the left-hand side. It's probably either Sima, Jack, or Ben Davies. Do you know what? I'm going to go Abdallah Sima again, actually. I thought Ben Davies and Ryan Jack were great. I've spoken at them in length, but just something that really, really impresses me about Sima, where he's came from, because there was a lot of criticism around him, but he's probably the first name in the team sheet now, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And he's kind of an old school footballer. He's kind of a bit of a throwback, where it's very much like, you know that his physicality is going to win duels. Get the ball to him as quick as possible and let him run. Let him take his fullback on. There's a lot of excitement there with him. I thought he'd done that again tonight, and I thought he supported Danilo a lot in certain stages. He went up and he made it a 2, and he was helping him press and things like that. So I'm going to go with Abdallah Sima for this one. Kyle, what about you?
Yeah, I think that's a fair shout. I know you've done your best there to virtually talk about every single player, including Sam Lammers, which was well done to you on the pitch tonight. But It's always a good thing when you've played well, you've won a game, and you're struggling to pick a man of the match. I'm never going to complain about that. If you're absolutely nailing me down to it, I'm going to say Ryan Jack. I know we didn't touch on him massively in the podcast, but I thought the front four is that is all based on him doing work behind. I thought I genuinely I've never seen him in so many areas. He was up on the left, up on the right, back in the right, back in the left, helping out the central defenders, and he was instrumental in the middle of that park. If we get our That's the problem with Ryan Jack, though. You're not going to get that every single game, but if we can maintain it and control his performances, I'm all for that for the rest of the season. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Ryan Jack, but I think Abdallah Sima is a fair shout as well. But listen, I think that just about wraps it up nicely. Fantastic result for Rangers. Brilliant first half. Meh in the second half, but good game management from us. Hopefully, what Clement said comes true, that soon we'll see 90 minutes of that, which I'm excited about. Rangers end the night 2-1 victors and 7 points in the group with 2 games left to play. Thanks for joining us tonight, Ross, and we'll see you all again soon.